CM department, together with finance, together with other finance officials. Do you see that?
I see that.
And then they ask for various documents relating to certain companies
Yes.
and certain officials.
Yes.
So this is a document that the Hawks have addressed to the city of Tshwane, correct?
Correct.
And you have shared this document with Sergeant Nkosi, correct?
Correct.
And then all the communication with the investigating officers in this case, you have also shared that with Sergeant Nkosi, correct?
Correct.
And the city of Tshwane's response to the Hawks, you've also shared it with Sergeant Nkosi to review before the response is sent to the Hawks, correct?
Correct.
And that is on page 65. If you want to satisfy yourself, you can have a look at it, but it is there. And it goes to my issue, which I raised with you earlier today and again yesterday. Your propensity to share with Sergeant Nkosi documents that are confidential to the city of Tshwane. What business does Sergeant Nkosi have with the Hawks investigating tender irregularities in the city of Tshwane?
Chair, first of all, this was a fake and a fraudulent letter that was sent by imposters, I'm going to put it that way, imposters purporting to be from the DPCI. We've got a process that's validated and tested in terms of how we deal with investigations, organs of state, Chapter 9 institutions. The protocol that is followed, firstly, any communications must be addressed to the city manager. It's in standard protocol. We deal with these issues on a daily basis. We've seen a number of these communications daily. Secondly, there must be sufficient communication and reference information in the document. If you look at this document, firstly, it doesn't even have a tender number, nor does it have any official communication instruments to communicate with the purported investigation. I'll give you a sequence of events of how this emanates.
I allowed you to answer and you didn't even answer my question, but I was patient because I wanted to give you a chance. Let's assume that this letter is fake. The first time you get it, you don't know that it is fake, correct?
No, I know because I analyzed the letter.
Yes.
I look at the letter, I analyze the process that's followed, I pick up anomalies. I know immediately it's fake.
Where was it sent to, this letter?
It was left at reception.
At reception where?
At the city.
At the city of Tshwane?
Yes, at the city of Tshwane.
It is a letter left at the reception at the city of Tshwane. What business does Sergeant Nkosi have?
It was a test of legitimacy. I needed him to give me advice on how I can take this matter up further. I needed to ensure that these individuals are trapped so that behavior of this nature does not carry on any further.
Did you report it to the police station?
I was waiting for advice from Sergeant Nkosi in terms of how we deal with this. Even if you look at the communication that you refer to on, I think, page 64, I commit to submitting these documents to the purported individuals, CC the supply chain management officials. The plan was to test legitimacy and to trap these individuals.
So two years later, have you reported it to the police, to SAPS?
No, I haven't reported it to SAPS.
But you, in a City of Tshwane letterhead, sent a draft response to Sergeant Nkosi to review.
I was asking for advice on how to trap these individuals.
In a City of Tshwane letterhead, you sent a draft response to Sergeant Nkosi to review. Is that correct?
It's not, it's an email with my signature. It's not a letter. That's my signature that's appearing there. So I was saying, did I cover the contents correctly? Will this help me catch these individuals in order to enable me to report this case? In short, this was an unlawful letter, and there's no unlawful conduct for myself because this is not an official document for the city. You'll be aware, Chair, that these individuals disappeared from here. We sent a team to go there at 10 a.m. to deliver documentation. When they were being contacted, they completely disappeared. That number stopped working as well.
You see, you're telling me about the facts, and I'm not asking you about the facts, but I accept that that is your answer. My question is really why you involved Sergeant Nkosi in matters that relate to a letter sent to City of Tshwane. Forget about it's fraudulent, you are aware that it's fraudulent. You've already said yourself, it is sent to the City of Tshwane, it is left at the offices. My question is, why do you involve Sergeant Nkosi in City of Tshwane matters?
It's not a City of Tshwane matter, it's an unlawful event. I needed to trap this individual so that I can open a case against him. He is a member of Hawks. You should be aware of the process on how I can escalate any irregularities of this nature. I was asking for advice on how to escalate the matter further.
So if a fraud happens at the City of Tshwane's offices, because it is a fraud, you are at liberty to involve Sergeant Nkosi, not internal fraud people, but Sergeant Nkosi. He's the one who must advise you on what to do. He's the one that must comment on your draft responses on letters that are dropped off at the City of Tshwane's offices.
Unlawful letters that are not official documentation. The procedures are not followed up. I will even give you an example. We had a matter of this nature where I had my first encounter with the senior counsel, Charles Kelson. They had a matter where he was dealing with another organ of state. The protocols that were followed, him and the representatives he was working with communicated to the city manager. This is a matter that was now delegated to me officially by the city manager that we have received an inquiry of this nature. CFO, you need to deal with this accordingly. I then action it accordingly. Protocol is not followed. This is not a lawful letter.
So if there's a fraudulent inquiry made at the City of Tshwane, the port of call is Sergeant Nkosi to advise on how to respond to that fraudulent letter sent to the City of Tshwane. That's your answer, as I understand it.
No, that's not my answer.
What is your answer?
My answer is I asked for advice because he is a member of the Hawks and he should know the escalation processes.
He's a member of?
He is the member of DPCI. He's a SEPS official. He should know the processes of escalating these matters. From my perspective, this was a good deed. This was in good faith. I needed advice on how to deal with the situation moving forward.
And was it reported to the police? I think that was my last question.
Yes.
You said you were waiting for advice from him, but that was in 2024. So what has happened in the last 18 months?
Since the disappearance of these individuals, I guess I was overtaken by events because they never ever came up, they never ever called, nor did they ever respond to this formal correspondence that was sent.
You never reported this attempted fraud?
Officially, no. I was overtaken by events, the individuals disappeared. When I tried to contact them to say I'm here, the number just didn't work, didn't go through any longer.
Does it mean you're resorting to Sergeant Nkosi on something like this? Does it mean that the City of Tshwane doesn't have its own internal investigations department or people that could have investigated this for you?
It does have that. But
And why did you decide to go to Sergeant Nkosi instead?
it investigates internal matters. Their matters for issues that occur within the city. They are not authorized to investigate other organs of state.
No, but this is a matter that is occurring within the city. You've been addressed in your official capacity as the Chief Financial Officer, so it is a city business. It's not a personal matter. It says CFO, City of Tshwane, so it is a city matter, and you don't refer it to the legal department, you don't refer it to your internal investigators, you don't refer it to the city manager. You say there's protocol, it should have gone to the city manager. You don't say, city manager received this, I'm giving it to you because that's our protocol, that these kind of things should be coming to you. You go to, and then you don't lay a complaint with the SAPS, and if I'm not mistaken, they'll correct me, Sergeant Nkosi is not a member of the Hawks. You don't lay a complaint with the SAPS, you go to your friend to help you solve a City of Tshwane matter. Even if it's a fraud, it's a City of Tshwane matter. Can you just explain why you choose not to follow protocol? You say we have a protocol. You don't follow protocol. Why?
Chair, I do follow protocol.
No, you didn't follow protocol. Your protocol does not include Sergeant Nkosi. Can we settle that? Nkosi is a member of the public. He's no different from me. So you going to him is not to follow protocol. And I've said to you, and I've indicated to you, bodies internally that you could have gone to, your internal investigation people whom you say you have. You have a legal department, and you have the city manager that you tell us correspondence is addressed to the city manager if there are issues, but you don't escalate this to the city manager to decide what to do with it. You instead go to your friend.
Okay. Chair, firstly, group audit and risk and legal investigate internal matters. They can't investigate external institutions. That was my understanding. That's still my understanding now. I couldn't have referred this matter to them. Firstly, I needed to ensure that I find processes in place to escalate this accordingly within the SEP structures. This was me asking for advice on what process I need to undertake to raise this matter accordingly to the relevant officials within SEPS. It was a SEPS-related issue where an
Did you
unlawful...
formally, when you gave this to Sergeant Nkosi, are you saying that's you reporting to the SEPS? And if your answer is yes, then I leave it at that. I will not ask you any further questions. Are you saying that when you handed this over, that's you escalating it to the SEPS?
I can't find an easy way out, and the answer is no. Me sending to this to Sergeant Nkosi, I needed to understand the escalation processes on if I receive an issue of this nature, which I've ascertained myself, it's a fake letter, it's unlawful. What steps do I need to follow to raise this accordingly within the SEPS?
Okay.
That was the reason I sent it to Sergeant Nkosi. I needed advice and guidance, which he provided me.
But you did more than getting the steps. You actually, as Commissioner Khumalo says, prepared a draft response
Yes.
on Tshwane communication record, which is your email with a signature. So you prepare a response to which Sergeant Nkosi makes an input. So you did more than, in fact, it is not correct to say you were asking and he provided you with how to escalate this. You actually, with him, started dealing with the matter, responding until these people disappeared. I mean, there are WhatsApp messages here where people are being asked, who are you?
Yes.
Where can I come and deliver documents? That's more than, or in fact, has nothing to do with escalating.
Okay, from my perspective, there was nothing wrong asking for guidance from a subject matter expert. He seemed like a subject matter expert. He knew the process to be followed. He guided me accordingly. There was nothing wrong with it.
That's your answer. Thank you.